also being kicked off.
Oh, is it? Okay, I don't know if it's load shedding related, then I hope not. Okay, good morning, everybody. Let's get straight into it so that we were a bit delayed now. After rebooting my PC, I had to go move the cars. So let's see who's all online. We've got 13 people. Who's Lady You? Morning, Michelle,
It's
Tabisile,
Yuna.
Charmaine. Oh, okay. Morning, Yuna, Flori, Meryl. Morning, guys. And
Morning.
welcome. Okay, so we're just gonna have a quick discussion.
Morning, Rasta.
Morning.
Morning, Russell.
Morning. So we'll have a quick discussion quickly. I'm just curious, what do you guys struggle with the most in the business? And that's the first question, and we'll go down the list. And the second thing is, what has brought you the most results in the past? So
Okay,
let's start.
as we go down, oh, you are recording. I just wanted to ask somebody to write down so that we can have, yeah.
Russell,
Thank you, Russell.
Sorry, I missed your second question. Can you just repeat the second one?
Okay, so the first one is, I'll put it in the chat as well as I say it. So what have you struggled with the most in the business? Right, that's question number 1. And the second one is, what has brought you the most results in the business in the past? Okay, so those are the 2 questions. Let's look at who's on top of my list. Meryl, you're number 1 on my list.
Okay, I struggle the most with when I speak to people and I phone them and I ask them for, like for instance, for Saturday, I asked the people if they would like to come. I gave them everything. Some of them, they don't come back to you, or otherwise I have to always go and ask them and go one-to-one. And that is what I find very difficult even now. People are still haven't come back to me, but I gave them already on Saturday. And this to
Do
me,
they not reply to your messages, or
no,
how do you mean they don't
reply.
come back to you?
They don't reply. There's only one
Okay.
or 2 people did reply to me and say, look, I can't make it because I've got something on. Or if I spoke to some other people and I said to them, look, I've got it. Oh, it was too long. It was short notice for me. I've got something else on. But otherwise, nobody comes back to you. That's
So
what
this
I
is when
find.
you send text messages.
I said, text messages, or I go to the people face to face, that they will come back to me. They don't come back to me. So this
Oh,
is
okay.
what
So they just tell you they'll come back to you, but they don't.
yes.
Okay. And what has brought you the most success or results in the business? Which activity have you done that has brought you the most results?
Well, what is success when I go speak to one-to-one and then they say yes or no? Or otherwise, like for instance, I would go and speak, like on Saturday, I went somewhere and I was speaking to somebody and I said, oh, and I always target little children, like, and then the mother's there, oh, hello, how are you, fine? And then I would say, oh, can I tell about the business? And they say to me, oh, no, I'm not interested. I said, right, well, can I come and show you the products? They say, yeah, sure, because I remember you spoke to me before, that really, we must go and show the people the products. That helps a lot. Yeah.
Okay, interesting. Thanks for that, Meryl. Next on my list, Kulsum.
Okay. Sorry. I was. Where am I now?
It's fine.
I'm
I'll
so
read
sorry
the questions again.
No, load shedding was just happened for us, and then it throws you off completely, and then after a while it brings you back. So my difficulty, I would say the issues I have in the business that makes it difficult for me to move forward was just myself. I'll say was because I'm working on all of it. So it is just it was just myself in being very, very taken hit in the face when somebody says a no.
Yes.
And I know what to do now when the no comes.
So what is currently your most difficult thing then, if you've gotten over that one? I think we lost her again. No, there she is. Cool, so?
I need to find another way, but I'm working hard on it because I need to move up. That was a difficulty in the business.
Awesome. Sorry, man. I think
what
you got cut off there. I don't know if I'm the only one, because I couldn't hear you for
really
that last point here. Just say again, what is the thing that you struggle with currently?
the thing that I struggle with currently is not only you know, I know what the what what can make it better. So I haven't, I think it's just in myself. It's in myself. It's not that it is, can you hear me? Russell, can you hear me? Okay.
Yes,
It is not, okay. It is not that the business is the problem within myself, and that I'm working on. So I am saying to myself, I need to work harder on myself because I have the tools. I have the tools. I started a program last week. It is not, it didn't give me the results I wanted. I was thrown off it. But when I look back to what the problems were, I say to myself, it is things that I can work on. So I need to find a solution for it. So that is just that is just what I think is my problem. But if I must put it into actual words, what is the problem? The problem is talking to people. Yet I don't have a problem talking in general to people, but talking to people, and I think my fear is that people will say no. So I'm working on that fear of rejection, because it could be stemming from something else. So I'm working hard on that. And I know I'm gonna get it over. I'm gonna get over it because I know I know I have a fear of rejection.
Yeah. And what has brought you the most results in the business in the past?
Most results, the people, I think I had a good start, because when I got into the business and when I started using the products, and when my family saw the difference, they encouraged me more. So that gave me, because I was the super example, they could see the difference, and they encouraged me by asking me, now what are you doing? And that gave me the courage to start talking to people about why I'm here now, and what the supplements have done for me. And it wasn't only saying, because I could show it to them. I mean, my whole being showed to them that there was a difference. So my kickoff was good, because, and that is why I am not so happy that I'm where I am now, because I had a very, very good start when I implemented my business, because they started being my customers, and I could easily talk to the ones who were excited.
Awesome. Thanks for that, Kulsum. We'll come back to all of the problems and challenges and stuff. Charmaine, you're next on the list. If you've got questions in front of you, what have you struggled with most in the business, and what's brought you the most results in the business in the past?
Morning, everybody. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
I think for myself, recently, I am too in a comfort zone. I should get more out of my comfort zone. Because if I speak to people about the opportunity and even about the product, they are very interested. I have 2 downlines at the moment, which is not very active. I think that is where my problem lies. The one is in Welkom and one is in Cape Town. So I need to work on them more, especially the one in Cape Town. Get them more involved and try and make them sell the products. And then also talk more to people. I have a lot of people that is very interested in the opportunity, but it is, I think it's like Coulson said, it's me. I must get up and get out of my comfort zone, get out there, because I know I can do it. So I must just get out of my comfort zone. The other question is, the answer to the other question is that I have a lot of, how can you say, if I speak about the product, then I get very excited and people buy from me. A very good example is that I went to church about 2-3 weeks ago and I saw that there was something wrong with the tiles. It was very extremely dirty. And then the people at the church said that they tried everything that they could, but they couldn't strip the tiles. And the next day I went to church and I put on a little bit of Super 10 and I just left it. And then about Friday, they came to knock on my door to ask what I used on the tiles because everybody saw the difference. So again, it's me. I must get out there and talk about it, talk about the product and share the opportunity because I know I can do it. I'm just still in my comfort zone.
I'm just smiling with what you said now because the theme is the same, and I was chatting with Hazel just before the call, and that was exactly what we were talking about as well, people getting out of their comfort zones. And that's what our meeting today is actually about. So it's actually quite interesting. Let's see, Faiza, you're next. What have you struggled with most in the business, and what has brought you the most results in the business in the past?
I'm not sure why this video is going on by itself because I'm busy ironing and I don't want to be. Morning, everybody. Hazel gave me a call in late last week, because I was so quiet. So apologies for that. I'm still so new, Russell. And in fact, initially when I joined, I think most of everybody knows I joined just because I wanted the discount on the products. And two things stood out for me. One, that when people ask me, but then why are you here? Why are you in the business if you're not here to do the business, you know? So, and then I started engaging and getting into the whole multi or network marketing aspect and how to do that. And so it's a very new business for me. And I've got still so much to learn. And so I suppose the biggest disadvantage was that I didn't have a method before. And now I'm slowly starting to implement all those little tips and tricks and stuff that you learn along the way. And you realize how important it is. So if I had started soon, but I actually have no regrets in starting it 6 months afterwards. I'm still very new. I'm not even a year in the business. But I don't have a problem with sharing information. And gosh, I don't know. I'm not sure if I can pinpoint one specific thing that I found I struggled with. I'm somebody that likes to watch and time things. So when the timing is right, so oh yes, getting out of my comfort zone. Oh, for sure, because Mary Lisa did a session once a couple of weeks ago, and she made us just send messages out to people, inviting them for a coffee. And that was my getting out of my comfort zone. It actually worked because I've been wanting to contact certain people and I hadn't done so. So that started a relationship with 2 out of the 6 people that I contacted, 2 people, but not to join. I do have a problem. People, my contacts thus far have not been, what's the word? They're not happy to join. They're happy to buy the products, but not happy to join the business. So I'm still working on all of that.
Not join the business side. Okay. Okay, thanks for that, Faiza. I see we've got some new people on as well. Sydney, welcome. the latest to join. Zuki, I will read out your messages next. So thanks for that, Zuki. Zuki is unable to join because she's at work, so she's just texted her answers. So Zuki says that she thinks she's continually planting a seed, struggling to, she says what? She says that, who is saying hello? That
It's
she's
Mero.
trying,
Mero. It's me, Mero.
Mero, I'm trying to speak.
Meryl, try not to talk when somebody else is talking,
Sorry,
please,
sorry,
because
sorry.
we're recording. Thank you.
Okay, so Zuki is saying that she's continually planting a seed. What I'm gripping with is that when you speak to someone, the person shows interest, make a follow-up, find the person is negative. So she's just getting some negative replies. So when people say no, basically. And then she says that you won't say it's by chance or luck when she gets a positive response of clients who experience the product and see the result, and then she has a happy client. So she wishes she can have many of them. So that is similar to, I'm just going to make a note here of what Zuki said. So she's getting basically people saying no is a struggle. And then obviously what's working for her is when people saying yes after experiencing the products. And that's in a way similar to what Faiza is saying, that people want to use the products. And Charmaine also mentioned that just being more practical about it and sharing the experience of the products has gotten her more results. We'll go on then to Jamati. Just read the questions out as well while you're unmuting. What have you struggled with most in the business? And what has brought you the most results in the business in the past?
Hi, Russell.
Morning.
Yes, we try to sell the product. Sometimes people buy the nutrition and then later on they've tried other things and then they stop buying. Yeah, that's one of the things. And yes, I need to get out of my comfort zone.
So what has worked for you then? Those are two sort of negative things or things that didn't go the way you wanted it to go. What has actually worked for you? What brought you positive results?
I just have some customers in just enough that that are happy with the products, and I think what I'm not doing is not going further. I should be going out and trying more people.
Okay, you need to speak to more people, and then the positives you say is people that are actually just happy with the products and just keep buying basically when they need. Thanks for that, Jamati. Also, we've got you already. Lady you.
Hi, Russell. Everybody, thank you
Morning.
for this opportunity. Russell, the biggest challenge I had was my excuses. You know, the other day with the book that David and Judy was doing, he literally placed me on the spot and I had to speak on excuses. And I had to speak about nobody else but myself and my own excuses of this and this and that, and busy with church, but not busy with the God of the church. And everything else kept me busy besides my business that I know that can change my life. But ignorance was my biggest killer. So what I decided, I had to shift my mind as Maisel was speaking to me. She was literally preaching to me of how to do it and what to do it. She never gave up on me. And for that, I am grateful. And well done, Charmaine. I've heard you spoke because you were also scared to speak like me. But now I'm so confident. I feel I can take it on. My excuses is gone. I had a divorce. You may ask me, what did you divorce, Una? Lady, you? I divorced poverty. I divorced excuses. I divorced my comfort zone. And I remarried boldness, ability to find who I am in my business, become my product, and speak to people, because why? I am out to change a new life, build a new life community. So that works for me. Building a new life community, by what me and Charmaine discussed, is having events. I'm going to use my strong point, what I usually did in church, and that was doing and planning events, which I know I'm very successful in. I'm going to use that in my business, and I'm going to shift my mind. And now that I have my divorce and I have my divorce letter in my hand, I'm going to work, because I have remarried Neolife. Thank you, Russell. Thank you, everybody.
Awesome. Thanks for that. I don't know why the names are jumbling around now. It's difficult to keep track of who has spoken and who hasn't, but I'm just going to try. Michelle, good morning.
Russell, before Michelle speaks, I'm so sorry for this. The new girl that's on is my person I invited.
Who's that new girl? What's the name?
The one that you said, Sydney something. I can't pronounce the name properly.
Sydney.
Yeah, I think.
Yes, we've met Sydney before, yes, at the training
Oh
at the
no, then
warehouse.
it's not her. No, then it's not her. Then it's not my person, because her name also
Okay.
starts with the S. Thank you.
Michelle, go ahead. Michelle, are you speaking or signing? You are using sign
Hi,
language. You need to
Russell,
put
can
your
you
video
hear me?
on. Ah, there we go. I can hear you.
Okay.
Sending
I'm
smoke signals.
actually just diving in to sort of catch up on everything, but I'm actually at work, so I've just
Okay.
run into the kitchen. So I can't really participate. Sorry.
Okay, no worries.
But I'm just diving in and
Okay.
don't want to miss out.
No worries. Thanks, Michelle. Keep that in
Okay,
mind.
thanks, Russell.
So speaking of Sydney, good morning and welcome. I'll just go over the questions again. What have you struggled with most in the business, and what has brought you the most results in the business in the past?
I'm coming here because I think Sydney is at work as well. And she's
Oh,
watching,
okay.
she's listening.
Okay, no
But I
problem.
mean, if
Lizette,
she
you can.
talk, she can.
Okay, Lizette, you can actually go ahead then.
Okay, right. What I'm struggle is always been to invite people into the business, to do the business. I was very good in inviting people to become a wholesale customer, so they sign up to get the product at cost. Now, I'm going for a very difficult time. I was in a very comfortable zone many years ago. And then everything collapsing around me. So now I need to work about me, on myself. It's not easy, but I'm doing it. I think I relate very much to Gilson, what she was saying. What works for me was getting customers. I had turnover, big turnover, and then these also stop a little bit. Now, with the increase, I've been phoning my customers, and I'm getting a lot of orders. I don't know, I'm going to cop, but I've got already over 10,000 rand of orders since last week. And the order will be coming again, but very worried, because if I got orders now, next month, I'm going to have to pay for the product I'm getting. So I'm not in a very good place right now. I know that I have to, you know what, if you don't believe in yourself, if you don't believe the business can work, it's difficult to go out there and share the business. So I'm going to be okay, but it's not easy right now. All right, and the support we're getting from your training, from Hazel, from all the people involved in the business, in that team, it's just very precious. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks for that, Lizette. I think that's one of the big things that we need to do more often is these online meetings now, which is what we're going to speak about today. I just want to make sure everybody's had a chance. See the top half looks like everybody's gone. Mary Lisa? We'll come back to those points, Lizette.
Hi, everybody. My biggest problem is getting people to commit to an appointment. But I know that there's been sick children involved, and people tell me they're very busy. So it's fine because I'm not giving up. I've just decided to become a bulldog and just keep nibbling away. I give them a week and then I try again the following week. But it does make one a little bit despondent, but you've just got to pull yourself up by the shoestrings or the back of the neck so you get upright and carry on. And then what's worked best for me is following up. We keep talking about it, but it's a true story. I don't give up. I just keep following up on people. When I ask them, what did you like best? And they don't get back to me, I just go back again with another question. And we just got to whittle away at their lack of response or their, yeah, people are lazy in Cape Town. I don't know if you've noticed it. We are very lazy down here. We have this I don't care attitude, you know, sure, we, whatever. And we need to change that attitude in people by us showing them by example that it pays to follow up and it pays not to give up. Thank you.
Thanks for that, Mary Lisa. Tabisile?
Hello, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Yes, thank you for the opportunity. Sure, my biggest challenge is that I don't give myself, I fail to give myself enough time for the business. I mean, like since I've got a lot of things, I mean, work, kids to look after, home, you know, I will always have an excuse that I'm tired. For the past 2 months, I was working away, so I couldn't have like time to talk to people because my focus was on this project that I was doing. But yeah, I've noticed that it's me who doesn't give the business time. I don't give myself enough time for a business. I always give a complaint that I don't have time, I'm busy, I don't have money, of which yes, money to place orders and all. And another thing that I was thinking about is that I'm still not well informed about the points, or I mean, like how to grow in the business in terms of when you buy this certain types of products, you get this point, and those points, where are they putting you into the business? How are you growing? Like for example, if I have 100 points, I've made 100 points, where does this 100 points will put me in the business? I think that one, if I can know that clearly, that will encourage me to know that I have to place an order or I have to sell this amount of products so that I'll grow into the next level of the business. What I saw it worked for me before. I used to market my business the most on my social media, and though that strategy, usually gave me people to order and people asking about the products. What is it? What is it doing? Even if somebody won't buy something, but they will ask, what is it? What is it doing? You know. So I've learned also to market the business to people. Yeah, I think that's all.
Awesome. Awesome. Thanks for that, Tabi. Celia, very good. I see
Thanks.
David's popped on as well. Good morning, David. I'm not sure if you heard the questions, but I can repeat them.
Please, Russell, thank you.
Okay, so the first question is, what have you struggled with the most in the business? And then the second question is, what has brought you the most results in the business in the past? So one good and one bad, basically.
Thanks, you need an answer.
Yes, please. Just off the top of your head, what stands out as the thing that has been the biggest struggle, or the thing that's annoyed you the most or bothered you the most? Any negative that you've experienced, and then one positive, if I can summarize it like that.
Yeah, the thing that actually that I struggle with is getting started. That's my biggest obstacle that I have. Going to somebody and speaking to that person about the business. And I think that is what that is my bug actually. that's my problem. But I think when I am going to start or when I'm going to speak to somebody, it will just flow. So going to somebody, that is my biggest obstacle at this point. And sorry,
what's worked the best for you in the past? What is your sort of your biggest strength in the business, if we can put it that way?
I think my biggest strength is sharing media information about the business. Sharing information, that is my biggest strength. Going into the back office and making sure that I know what is at what is the things that I need to send to people. If somebody should ask me something now, I will send it to them immediately because I know where to find it. That's my strong point.
Okay, excellent. That's a very important strong point, especially with someone like Tabisili also that's marketing a business on social media. You know, when people ask a question, you must know where to find the answer, even if you don't know the answer. So that was awesome. Thanks, David. Last one is Vilma.
Hi, Russell.
Morning.
Morning, Russell. Morning, everyone. Just, yeah, I think challenges with me talking to people is really not a problem. But sometimes getting back to people. So sometimes I've got more names that I can handle. So I think it's just really being disciplined and put the hour, the 2 hours in that I need to do and get back to people. And yeah, so that is a bit of a challenge, but I'm working on that. And then really my success is maybe going back to my customers and getting new customers on board. And then, yeah, getting more sales. So that is what I think I can do well. But also what I'm working on now is just getting back to all my old downlines to help them renewing their membership and get them back into the business. Yeah, that's it.
Awesome. Thanks for that, Vilma.
Thanks.
I think from my side as well, I am very much in the same boat as many people with the time factor. And it was something that I was very good at initially, and I've just become bad at it, that I've started to struggle to find those 5 minutes and 10 minutes here and there that I can actually do the business. So I know it exists. It's not that I don't know it's there. It's just that maybe my focus has left for a bit. So if I can put it this way, time management. And what that basically is making the business a priority. I think that's what it boils down to. And the thing that I have had the most success with is actually doing one-on-ones meetings, as well as home events or planning events, and actually just doing the events myself instead of like waiting for, you know, Near Life to come up with the event or the Eagle Team event or whatever. Just plan your own stuff, go out and do something. instead of just sitting around and waiting for it. So that's been my biggest strength. But that's at the same time also something that I haven't been doing of late. So if I scroll through, I don't know, Hazel, if you want to say anything before I continue, maybe you want to speak
Yes.
about your struggles and results.
Yeah. My struggle is remembering. Spelling, there's a lot of challenge that I have that I need to work on every day of my life that nobody knows about, of course, because I'm always excited. And so I know how to protect myself, but it is still a struggle. And when David was talking, I was just thinking, you know, if he just knew, you know, he would really have the guts to just do it. Because the one thing that I learned is when you have fear, just do it. Because the more you do it when you fear something, the easier it becomes, the more guts you have. And I think the big thing is the results that you get at the end of the day, and seeing people's faces. And somebody was talking about not knowing how the PV work and all those things, you know. And so if you sit with your new person, it is so important. It is our responsibility. When you sit with your new person and you explain these things, and you see the light going on, you know, in their lives, no money can give you that. And so that is why I do things the way I do it, even if I have the fear of, what if I forget? What if I can't spell? What if? Forget the what ifs and think of all the possibilities that because you have the guts, people will have the results. And like I said, for me, the big thing is that you can't put it into money. No money can give you that. When people say, I was so stressed. I have somebody on this call that had such a big, more than one person on this call that had such a big stress challenge, and just walking the road with them because I was there, so I know what it feels like. And now seeing this amazing butterfly, busy, just going from flower to flower and making a difference in other people's lives. So I know everybody on this call can do it. We just need to believe that God put more than enough in all our DNAs. That's how he made us, that we are really more than enough. Thank you, Russell.
Thanks for that, Hazel. So the common theme, if I just go through some of the things people said, a lot of it is emotional. If we look at the struggles people are having, because a lot of the time we probably even know the answer, you know, but when I say it's emotional, we look at the word fear. So we're fearing what people are going to say. We fear probably what people are going to think of us or whatever. And a lot of that, like a lady you said, is she needed a mindset shift. You know, we need to shift our mindset, but it's difficult to change on our own. And as Lizette also mentioned, there's a lot of support on these trainings. So what we want to try and do now is have more of these online sessions where we just build our business. We're not going to try and do too much of training as what we're doing in the sense of memorizing things to say and things like that. We'll do that as well, but we want to focus a lot of time on actually just sort of setting you up to do your thing and then getting your feedback after you've done it. It's just going to give us all an opportunity to overcome, maybe it's procrastination, maybe it's fear, whatever it is, but it's just going to give us that opportunity to do that in a setting that is safe and in a setting that is supportive, not just emotionally, but also with the information that you might need. So you might not know what to say, or maybe somebody says something that you don't know how to reply to, and then you can ask people on the group, you know. So I'm just going to go over quickly something that I designed a while ago. Let's try that again. There we go. And it's just a simple little graph. I called it an exposure infographic, how to interact with prospects, customers, and downlines, right? So a lot of what people said now, I think we can simplify the answer and maybe in their minds to show them a different approach by looking at these 4 stages, right? So the first stage that we've got here is connect. So we want to make contact and we obviously exchange pleasantries. So good morning, whatever. And then you begin to build an emotional connection. So you get to know the person. But it's not just I'm getting to know you, it's I'm getting to know what are your strengths and weaknesses, what are your challenges. So if you think about any of those people that you maybe struggled with, where they didn't get back to you or they didn't reply or they're sort of keeping you at arm's length, how much of their life do you actually know? So I'm just going to ask Hazel also to give us some guidance here because she's really good at this. She will meet you and within 5 minutes you will know your whole life story. I don't know how she does it. But it's something so important because just knowing that the person has 3 kids, this person has very little time to do most things, So you've got to be then mindful of that, especially when they're small, still like mine are, they're 2 years old, 2 of them, and 1 5-year-old. So Hazel, if you can maybe just guide us when you connect with people and you speak to them, just the kind of things that you ask them about, because I know it's not rocket science, it's not complicated, there doesn't have to be a long list, but I would actually encourage people to write out your own scripts. So if you don't already have a notebook out, get the notebook out and start making notes. But in that notebook, actually have a script or a dialogue that you have. So if I'm going to give you an example of a dialogue just before Hazel comes in, just want to open this thing quickly, the Getting Started book. So if you guys haven't yet opened your Getting Started workbook, I know there's a new one out now as well. If you scroll down in the new one to page, let's see, what is it? Does it start? And you can see here they've got the exact thing that I'm going through as well on page 14. But on page 15, they start giving you different dialogues where they actually give examples of what you say and then what the prospect says, and then what you say and what the prospect says. So that's what I mean by developing your own scripts, because you're not going to sound like the scripts that you're studying online. So how would you say what they suggesting that you'll say? For example, if you say to the person, "Hi, how are you? Not sure if you saw that I've started my own nutrition business and I've zoom in a little bit, there we go. And I've had some really awesome results like XYZ. I think you might like the products. If not, no big deal." And then the person says yes, and then you'll say, maybe check this out. You might not use the words check this out. So write it in your own words so it sounds like you, it feels like you, and have your own scripts prepared when you speak to people, especially if you're doing it online. Hazel, what kind of things do you speak to people about when you first meet them, if you can put it that way?
Okay, guys, what you must remember, number one, is be yourself. Okay, be relaxed. Don't worry about, I need people in my team. I need PV. It is not about that. Okay, so the more relaxed you are, the better people sense that. It's amazing how many people say when I speak to them, even on the phone, that they can hear my passion. Because I am passionate. I really love what I do because I know that I can make a difference. I cannot change people, but we can all make a difference in people's lives. And so the big thing is that number one is be yourself. Number two, that's very, very important. And then, of course, have in your mind sense. You know, I always say, pray for a spirit of discernment. So that spirit of discernment for me is really a big thing, because I can pick up a lot of things over the years. It didn't start like that. Okay. I didn't have it when I was born. I had to learn. And it's also amazing when you teach, even just to go off a little bit, when you teach your team. We were very strong on it, and then we just left it where we would have a meeting, and then I would say, did you hear what Charlie didn't say? You know, and people could pick up, for example, or did you hear what Mark didn't say? You know, but you were speaking about something, and we need to do that even with somebody new. So be relaxed, be yourself, make sure that you tap into. So, okay, when I see a new person with a baby, I will start with the baby, you know, and say, because babies are all cute, all of them, you know, and then take it from there. And it's amazing when you start talking, Russell said, you know, how people just open, because you don't talk about yourself. It's all about the person that you are working with. Remember, you're going to build a relationship. So that is what my needs are, where I will say, we spoke like we know each other for forever. Can I have your contact number? And that is how I get their contact numbers. Okay, so especially if I was thinking of Isa also now, you know, where all your friends that you have, they are comfortable where they are, so they don't want to do the business, but they're using your product, and so you make a lot of money by just selling their product. But you, every time you go out, if it's a game, you know, if you go out with, Lord, I need to meet the people that you want me to meet. And if that is in the back of your mind, you will come back with a name, because wherever you go, the guy that started the business on Saturday, I met them at Lynn's flat in Sea Point. He's a painter. And I was so busy, there was really no time. But because of the passion I have, I made time, and I went to him and I said, wow, you're doing a awesome work. And he smiled. And when he smiled, I said, you're definitely not from South Africa. And he said, how do I know? So I said, are you from Zim? He said, yes. I said, you know what? All the people that I met from Zim, they just have this big, amazing smile. So I didn't tell lies. I was honest in everything I said. And then I just took his number because he was very busy and I was very busy. And then, of course, he was, the one thing that I always leave, I always tell people my story. So I said, you know what? Can I have your contact number? Because maybe I have something that can make a big difference in your life. Because I was a teacher, fired my boss in 2005, and never have to look back or ask anybody for any money or anything at the end of the day. That's all I said. He gave me the number, and then he called just to say hi. Hi, madam. He said, hi, madam. Because I was so busy with Lynn that I really forgot about this guy. And then he said, hi, madam. And then, of course, I called immediately and I asked his wife's number. Because remember, because I'm a lady, it's not always easy, you know. And so I spoke to his wife. She was so excited. She said she can't wait to meet me. And that was last week. And they were Saturday there. And they joined at the end of, they started the business on Saturday. So fired up. So guys, the people are there. And they are looking for us. We just need to keep on doing what we're doing. Thank you, Russell.
Thanks a lot for that, Hazel. So I think three things that I took away from what Hazel said now was, firstly, pay a compliment to the person. So if we getting to know the person, a really awesome way to build that connection, that emotional connection, is just pay the person an honest compliment. You know, if you like their shoes, their tie, their jacket, their baby, whatever it is. And that will just set you on your way to obviously now building that relationship with them. But point number 2 over here is to identify the need, right? And this is the getting to know the person that is really going to help you to build the business side of things. So what does the person truly need right now? So not what do you need the person to need, not what do you need them to buy. So it's not about PV, as Hazel has mentioned. It's not about money. It needs to be about what does the person need? Where are they in their life, and what do we have that that can really help them? Right? That is what we need to become better at. Sort of sussing out, or I don't want to say sniffing out because it sounds a little weird, but if you get what I mean, just finding out what is it that they need right now. And then once you figure that out, and there might be more than one thing, but usually they talk about pain points. It's one of the terms people use when we do this kind of training. We talk about things that are hurting them right now. Basically, what is this person's biggest problem or challenge that we have a solution to? And generally speaking, it's one of two things. It's either money or health, right? Because those are the two things that we can help people with. We can help them to build a business, and we can help them with their health as well. And once you found the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, however many things that has really stood out about this person, I mean, one thing I must really just make a big point on, and it's something that I know I need to do, and I try to do it, but there are times that I don't, is did you write it down? So for those people that are more tech savvy, like David, who goes to the back office often, are you using, for example, the TNL app, the Team Neolife app, that is free for the first, 60 days of your, or 30 days, whatever, of your distributorship, and then 300 Rand a year. So I'm actually going to do a calculation because I forgot what is the actual amount. So if I go 300 over 12, so 25 Rand a month. If you can put away the profit of 1 Super 10 every month, you can afford every year to renew your Team Neolife app. And what I use that for is firstly to keep all my contacts on it. So that would be your digital version of your names list. But also to actually, under each name, you can add notes to each person. And you can add, I don't think there's a limit on the amount of notes that you can actually add. So every time you speak to them, you make a note under their name of what you said to them and what they said. What is the main points that came out of that meeting? If you are not using the TNL app, you can just as well use a book. And on each page, you have a different person's name as they become a prospect and you start speaking to them. You identify the needs. Okay, on this and that date, I spoke to so-and-so. They mentioned that the child is always sick, and they really need to find a way to, because they're missing out on a lot of time from work and the normal family responsibility left. Soon they're going to need to start taking unpaid leave to stay at home and watch the child because the child keeps getting sick. So now you've got more than one pain point, right? And it's all connected to health. So this person, in fact, money as well, because now it's going to start affecting the person. They're going to start losing their leave. They're going to start even getting paid less every month because their child is sick. So those kind of things we firstly need to make note of. And then the second thing is, do they actually acknowledge the need? Do they understand that the core of their problem and that there is actually a solution? And if they don't, you can make them aware of that, right? So you identify the need. Whether or not they acknowledge it, you can then make them aware of the solution that you have, right? And then decide whether it's a product or business need. What is the main thing that this person needs right now? And the easiest way to do that when you make them aware of the need that they have is just ask them. Make them part of the conversation. Don't have the conversation alone. Hazel, is there anything that you want to maybe add? I see somebody put something off on the chat. Okay, Coulsom's back on now. Coulsom, it is recorded, so you'll have to go back to the recording to catch that one. Hazel, do you have anything that you want to add in terms of identifying the need? and what I've mentioned about writing things down and taking notes as well.
Yeah, guys, I just want to emphasize that remember, you need to write it down. And that's why it is so important. You will always see Charlie has a little book, a small book. These little notepads. It's small, so it fits in his shirt. You also always buy a shirt with a pocket because he says then he can put it in there. You know, so it's little things at the end of the day. But we ladies, we have bags. And so get a little book. But when you ask people to write it in the book, make sure that you get home and rewrite it. And then what is going on with this lady? She's really crazy because she's collecting names for what? You know, so that people don't see it. It must be a clean page at the end of the day. And when they're gone, please then write the date on it, because look, we're going big fast. So write the date on it, very important. And then also, what was the connection? Because remember, if you come home with 5 people's names for the day, you don't know what number 1 said. You know, you can't remember what number 2 said. And if you go out tomorrow again, it happened. So if you, tonight before you go sleep, it is important that you put it in your calendar, in your book, your phoning book. Everybody needs to have a phoning book, even if you're good with this online. I love the online, it's easy. Would love to do it like Faiza and Russell but at the moment I can't. And so I'm not using that as an excuse, because a book and a pen is always available. Okay, they say, come here, use me at the end of the day. Okay, not like on the internet now. Lots of people send messages to say they can't be on. So that is your most important thing, is to write it down, write what you were talking about, so that when you phone back, for example, even if you do a call, remember, a no is never a no, because we need to educate and people need to understand. And many a times it takes longer for the one person than the next one. And then you get despondent and say, everybody says no. Remember, what you say is what you get. So don't talk what you don't want. Talk what you want at the end of the day. But then, because I make notes, I can now go back to last year and said, remember you said you were busy studying? I know you're done now. How did it go? Blah, blah, blah. And then, of course, get the business opportunity. Because I wrote it down. I even write down the day. So I will say the 12th of the 9th, 2022. Important, because remember, I'm going to use this 2022 in 2023. And then I say, she was busy studying. So now I can go back. So the more detail you have, the better for you. And it's amazing how people think, you really remember all these details. No, I don't. I wrote it down. Thank you, Russell.
Awesome. Thanks for that, Hazel. It does really work, guys. I've written stuff down in a book that I've even forgotten about, because the books do get full, or you do sometimes misplace it at times, and then I start the other book. And like, for example, one book that I had, I was doing these flea market stalls at one stage at RCS. I used to do these market days. And I had written down on this one day, I'd gone there specifically. I was going to get names of basically everybody that I've spoken to about the products, because I didn't just have my New Life stuff there. I was selling flash drives and other things and pillows and things. Just a weird variety of things that I knew nobody else would have, you know. And everybody that came there, I'd asked them, you know, what are you interested in? If I have specials on these, can I contact you in the future, and get their name? And it was probably 2-3 years later that I actually followed up on those names when I found the book again. And I could say to them, you know, I met you at the market day on such and such a date, and we spoke about the flash drives. You know, I'm not doing that anymore, but I am busy with a business that I think you'd be really good at. Would you be interested in looking at a way to make some extra money? You know, so they know who I am. They know that we did actually meet before. It's not some random person that's just contacting them. And there I had this list of people that I could contact. So it really does work to write everything down and keep track of things with the date and the time and where and what you said. And it's a little bit of effort, but if you think about it, and I think this is also something that's worth mentioning, aside from writing things down. Some of the people were speaking about, let me just go into the notes quickly, about people maybe that they've tried to follow up with people not getting back to them, and there's people that want to use the product only but not join the business side. Many of the people that have had that kind of negative experience have, on the flip side, also had a positive experience with people as well. So at the end of the day, how many people are you speaking to? You know, can you count all of your prospects that you've spoken to in this month on two hands? And what other business in the world do you know of that only relies on 10 customers in a month? You know, so if you think of, let's say, a McDonald's, you know, do you think that they only have 10 people that come to the McDonald's every month? Do you think there's only 50 people that come there in a day? Or do you think that they look at getting hundreds, if not thousands of people in every week? And we're talking about running a business that can rival the income of a McDonald's franchise, yet we don't even want to speak to more than 10 people in a day. You know, it doesn't make sense, guys. And I'm not pointing fingers at anybody. I'm acknowledging my own sort of challenge that I've also got, where you can't expect the business to work if you aren't working, and you can't expect to do the income of a business such as, let's just say, an internet cafe, even, where even that, I mean, there's at least 20, 30, 50 people, 100 people that come and print things every day in an internet cafe. You know, so if you look at any other business, there's no business on earth that's going to survive on a handful of people every month. So we cannot expect to do the same thing in our business and expect the business to work. We need to look at speaking to thousands of people every month, because that's just normal in every other business. Why not ours? And even if we get a 10% success rate, it's 10 to 100 people that's actually going to say yes to the business and actually grow with us. You know, then the business works because we are working. But if we're speaking to 5 people a day, even that shouldn't be considered enough. What business expects to get 5 customers in a day and survive? You know, whereas our business can still grow with 5 people a day, but why only 5 people? Why not 50? You know, especially for everybody who was able to make it on the call today. I mean, we could afford to come online and spend these 2 hours and actually learn and grow and support each other and whatever else the case is. But why are we not speaking to more people than what we are? So I think there is that mindset shift, as Lady you said. We need to really realize that, you know, the business is based on people. People are going to make the business work, not the products, not the business side of things. And so when we talk about people, the number one thing that we need to do, and the Kudalis and Hazel are always saying it on the group, whenever there's an event, invite. But how do you invite? Right? Do you know what to say to the person? And this comes back to the whole dialogue. Have you written down what you're going to say to people before you say it to them? Why haven't you actually given yourself a script to work from? Say the same thing if you have to. You know, you can say it in a slightly different way, but have a sentence or two that you actually say. So I'm just going to stop this share quickly, and I want to switch over to a different file. Hazel, do you want to say anything based on what I said now, just while I find this other infographic?
Yes, Russell. While Russell was talking, I was just thinking the importance of attending functions. You know, and many times we think, I know that, but I think it was Coulson that said last week, you know, you never know, and Charlie keep on saying it, you never know when the penny will really drop for you, where somebody just say something. And I was just thinking about Saturday, because for us it was a very long day. From 9 till past 4 was very long, and not having food was very exciting. But you know, what I took away there was when Drew was talking about this guy that was living on the street, and he's an IST, really. He's an IST. So that gave me again, yeah, Hazel, get off your butt. What are you doing? Why are you making excuses? You can do better if you do more. And that's what Russell was saying. We are doing the right thing. Everybody, I don't care how young you're in the business, everybody is doing the right thing. The only thing we must keep on reminding ourselves is that we need to do more. Success, love, speed. That's a fact. Thank you, Russell.
Awesome. Thanks for that, Hazel. So I'm going to share my screen again. This one. So when you speak to people, 1 or 2 people mention that they're not sure what to say, or maybe the fear is there. When you look at the numbers, guys, and if you're going to speak to 10 people and only 1 says yes, and your business goals, let's say, is to have 100 people to say yes, then the answer is actually quite easy. If you know 1 out of 10 says yes, then you just need to speak to 1,000. But now when you say that, then it sounds like a lot. So you need to break it down. If you've attended our trainings at the warehouse in the last maybe 3 to 6 months, you'll have gone through the training where we talk about the names list and that, and also scheduling. Hazel mentioned it today. And just scheduling your time. So if you look at 1,000 people and you break it up in half, right? That's 500 in the first 15 days and 500 in the second 15 days of the month. Then you can break it again down and break it down until you know, okay, I need to speak to, let's say, 50 people in a day. And I promise you, if you sit in front of any shop that makes money, any business, and look at how many people go in and out there, there's going to be much more than 50 people that go in and out of there. So for example, if you sat and I'm not going to try to do maths right now. I'm going to use a calculator. And if you look at 50 people times 30 days, you've already got 1,500 people. So you don't even need to speak to 50 people in a day to get to the 1,000 that I spoke about, right? So let's just look at what you would say to people if you wanted to invite them to take a look at the business opportunity. Let's say you went out there and you just wanted to go to a mall or a market day or whatever. You knew there was going to be a lot of people walking around looking at things, and you had your own pamphlets and stuff, and you wanted to invite them to look at this tool or event. So let's say you had the What is Near Life pamphlet, for example. You were going to give that to people and then ask people if they would be interested in making some extra money or starting a business. So the first thing is you would ask them, if I, would you, right? So let's say you said, if I shared a link with you, would you check it out? Right? There's something as simple as that. So you greet the person, you show them the pamphlet and say that you're promoting Near Life, let's say, for example, and you say to them, if I shared a link with you, would you check it out? That's it. They can say yes or they can say no, right? There's another 999 people walking around this place that you're at. And if they ask for more info before they want to commit to the link, you would say something like, I understand that you want more information, but everything you want to know is on the clip. And the fastest way for you to really understand what I'm talking about will be for you to review that material. Now, so if I give it to you, would you review it? You're not even saying when or whatever. One thing you could even do is have the video on your phone. So you could have the plan on your phone, and we've done the plan in under 10 minutes before. It is possible. So you can show them a 10-minute clip or a 5-minute clip. Even I've done it in just over 5 minutes before. A 5-minute plan, and we can work on doing that together. And then if I give it to you, would you review it? Or if I shared the link with you, would you check it out? That's the first thing. So you just want to know, if you shared it, would they watch it? And the second thing, if they say yes, is by when. When do you think you will have watched it? So if the person is saying things like, I don't know, sometime tomorrow or whatever, say something like this to them, because they need to know that you're serious, that you are professional about it, and that you stick to your time. So they need to stick to theirs. Say something like, look, I don't want to waste your time or mine, so why don't we commit to a time when you have seen it for sure, and then we don't waste any time by doing so. So you need to be a little more assertive as well. You don't have to be rude about it. It's not about pride or whatever. But be more assertive and say what you mean and mean what you say, type of thing. Then we get to the first confirm. So if I called you on such and such a date and time, you'll have seen it for sure. So most people we speak to watch it immediately, but there are people who maybe say, okay, look, I only get to watch it by the next day. And then we want to make sure that you say something like this. Most people we speak to watch it immediately, but others watch it by the next day. We don't want to waste time by contacting you if you haven't watched it yet. So we are just confirming a time that suits you. Right? And then the second confirm, once they're saying that they'll definitely watch it by then, is, so what is the best way? Via a cell phone, a Zoom call, WhatsApp, Facebook, or whatever, or meeting face to face, right? And once you're done with them, if it's a face-to-face thing, thank you very much, and move on to the next person. If you are doing it remotely, you'll get off the phone, got it, we'll talk then. I've got some more calls to make. Thank you for your time and goodbye, right? And you're done. Hazel, do you have anything to add on the triple opt-in? So it's if I would you, by when? So if I called you on such and such a date, would you have watched it for sure? Awesome. So what's the best way to contact you? A Zoom call again or cell phone? Do you have data to meet on Zoom or whatever the case is? And great, we'll talk then. Thank you very much. And move on to the next person. Hazel, do you want to add anything there?
Russell, I just want to ask a question if there's anybody that wants to add or have a question. Please ask now or give us more input if you have. Please, thank you.
Nobody? You just unmute yourself and ask a question if you have, guys, or any input.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, Meryl, you can go ahead. Go for it. Meryl, you can talk.
Can I talk? Can you hear me now?
Yes, go ahead.
Yes.
I can hear you.
Now, for instance, I spoke to what happened was this was a customer, one place. There was a boy at. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
There was a little boy outside Woolworths, and I said, "Where's your mommy or your daddy?" And eventually, the father came, and then I started speaking to him. I said, and I started asking questions. I said, "Hi, how are you?" Because his accent wasn't from South Africa. So I said, "Where are you from?" He said to me, "No, I'm from."
Sorry, Meryl, just unmute yourself again. I was trying to mute somebody that came on and wasn't muted.
Okay, is that right? Can you hear?
That's better, yes. That's fine. Go ahead. Sorry about that.
And I said to him, "Oh, were you on the ship?" He said, "Yes." I said, "What kind of work do you do?" No, he says to me, he's busy, he does some shift work or something. So I said, "Oh," I said, are you interested in looking for extra money, part-time, whatever? And I said, "Can I have your number?" So he said, "Yeah." So I phoned him and I told him, and I said to him, "Are you interested?" And I gave him a little note. He came back, he said, "Yes, I'm interested." And so I said to him, when I sent some phone back to him, he said, "Yes, I'm interested." So then I said, "Okay." Then I sent him a video on the products and all this first, and then he said, "Yes, I'm interested in it." And then I asked him, when would you actually listen to it? No, he said the next day, "Yes, I will listen to it." And then when I asked him now to come I said, "If you are not going, if you've got nothing to do on Saturday, would you like to come?" He never came back to me. So and it was quite interesting. What actually happened was, even on Saturday when I was walking down the street, I saw a little girl and I said, "Hello, how are you?" And then the little girl, and I said to her, "How are you?" "No, I'm fine." And then the mother pitched up, "Hello, hi." I said, "Well, I've met you somewhere before." "Yeah." And then I said to her, about the business, "I'm not interested in the business." I said, "Can I come and show you the bit of the product. Oh yes, I'll contact you. Yeah. So that's it. So now I'm still going to contact the lady. So this is how am I right what I did? Hello?
So one thing that Hazel's always said is whatever's working for you, keep doing that. You know, so
Okay.
if you're getting success with something, and Hazel said it earlier as well, just do more of that. That is the big thing that we need to do. So, for example, one thing that I love doing is events and one-on-ones. You know, so I just need to do more
Yeah.
of that. I need to get myself out there and do more one-on-ones. If I love doing it so much, why am I not doing it more? You know, do what you want to do because it works. So if you speaking to people by going up to kids or whatever, and you know and that is getting you results, do more of that. You know, just
Yeah.
spend more time doing that.
Yeah.
I think
Russell,
that's
can I
the one.
add,
Right?
is there anybody else that wants to add Meryl, answer Meryl before I do? Anybody? Okay, then I'll go for it. Meryl, your big thing is that you keep on saying that you don't get results. So I think what you must do is slow down on, for you to get names is not a challenge because you love talking to people, but don't bombard them. That means don't go over immediately into giving them the business opportunity because like, who's this lady? You know, I don't know her from Adam, and now she comes and she tells me she has a business opportunity and I don't know her. Remember, these days people don't trust anybody, and especially our network marketers, because of, you know, what happens to them. And so if you could just have more patience and then really make a friend. Remember, it's always you make a friend to meet their friends. And that for me is the big thing. So for you to make a friend is not a challenge, but you need not to bombard them with the business immediately, but to first make friends, you know, go for coffee or ask can you meet them. But the big thing is not to talk business the first time you meet people. Many a time you can, but most of the time you can't. You need to make a friend. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Russell.
Thanks, Hazel. Just trying to get my camera working again. Haha, awesome. Sometimes you just need to switch it off and on again. Okay, so that was the sort of how to invite, and I just need to post these things on WhatsApp as well later on. If I don't, somebody please just remind me because I get forgetful with these things. But let's say you've now spoken to the person, and a lot of us have talked about follow-ups. So how do you actually follow up with a person? What do you actually say to them, right? Or maybe you want to close the prospect, which means you want them to, you want to help them to make a decision now, right? So let's have a look at this, how to close your prospect. And one thing that we've been saying is you have two roles when you speak to people. Your one role or your one task or objective should be to educate people on, like I said, the solutions that we have to their biggest pain points. And your second role or job is to make sure that the person understands, right? And so it's a bit like active listening, where when somebody says something to you, you repeat back to them in your own words what they just said. So with the understanding part, ask them questions about what you just showed them, right? So you obviously, and this is something that Hazel's always said, and I've always learned this in training as well, is don't share anything with anyone if you haven't watched it yet. Right, so make sure you have, like David has his routine of going into the back office and knowing where to get the information, but you watch the video first and then you share it with people, right? So you want to educate them on what our solution is that can solve their problems, and then the understanding part, make sure that they understand what we shared with them. One other thing that I'm big on trying to solve is the fact that everything we do seems to be in English. And yet we in South Africa have 11 official languages. I don't know if we've gotten the 12th one yet of sign language. I don't know if that was ever done, but the point is we only really do it in one language. And if English isn't your first language, why not be the first person to start doing every presentation in Afrikaans or whatever your first language is? I think that is really a gap that we are not using enough. A gap in the market is what I mean by when I say gap, in helping people to understand what we have to offer. Because maybe that is that they actually don't understand what we're saying. I know when we do the circles on the board, even if people are watching it in the first language, they don't understand it. So imagine people are watching it in the second or third language, So education and understanding will help lead them to an informed decision. And once they make the decision, then you've got the outcome that you want for them as well. Because they need to decide to do the business, or they need to decide to use the product. Otherwise, you're going to always be, how do they say, it's like pushing a piece of string. You're always going to be trying to stand behind them and push start their car instead of getting their battery running on its own. So when you close the person, when you follow up with them, right, the first thing you're going to ask is, what did you like most about the video link that I sent you? So this is now, the person said they'll watch it by Monday night, and you say, okay, I'll be available Tuesday morning. Can I phone you first thing? Let's say, if they say, okay, I'm available at 8 a.m. Okay, great. Can I phone you at 8 a.m.? You'll definitely have watched it. They say, yes, great. I'll phone you at 8 a.m. on Tuesday. 8 a.m. on Tuesday comes and you phone the person. Now they get the pleasantries out the way. So you've watched the video. And here's maybe the first thing that I should put on this. So let's say the person says no. What do you do then? If they haven't watched the video yet. Well, then you just go back to the triple opt-in. Well, by when do you think you will have watched it for sure, so that we don't waste time like this again? Or you don't have to say that, but when do you think you'll have watched it for sure then? And then I'll follow up at that point. Or what was the reason? Was it, do you want, are you interested in something else? Or, so then basically set another date to follow up with it if they haven't watched it yet. Let's say they did watch the video. The first thing you're going to ask them is, what did you like best? And then after that, okay, so on a scale of 1 to 10, where 10 is ready, you're ready to start now, what number are you? So this scale of 1 to 10 tool that we've got is a really useful tool for us to gauge where the person is. But some people find it awkward to just to be more assertive, because one thing Charlie always says is just give the person the application form and the pen and ask them, so how are you going to pay, by cash or card or EFT or whatever the case is. But on a scale of 1 to 10, where 10 is ready to start now, you of course sign the person up then and then. If the person is a 1, the person's not interested in what you are selling. Maybe they just want to use the product. And if they're not interested in buying a product either, you could also then ask them for referrals. But anything between a 1 and a 10, so it's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, right? That means the person's not saying yes, but they're not saying no. And if we go back to the top of this infographic, education and understanding, that goes for us as well. We need to understand where they are and why they are there. So we ask them, right, if they say, let's say a 4 or a 7, whatever it is, no matter what number it is, you want to ask them, firstly, hypothetically, if you were to do this part-time, how much would you have to make this worth your time? So let's say they say a 7, you say, okay, if you were to do this part-time, how much would you have to make? How much money would you have to make this worth your time? And let's say they say, okay, 10,000, right? And then you ask them how many hours per week, and this is just hypothetically, there's no pressure, they're not committing to this, you're just asking them out of interest, right? So it's like a little exercise you do with them. How many hours per week would you have to work to build up that level of income? Right? And let's say they say, okay, maybe 10 hours a week. Bearing in mind, like I've said earlier, we're offering them a real business opportunity, right? And you're not going to open up a new shop front in the waterfront and go and work there 2 hours a week. You're going to struggle to pay your overheads alone, let alone your employees. So realistically, how many hours per week would you have to work to build up that 10,000 Rand a month? So they say, okay, maybe 10 hours per week, right? And how many, and this is an important one because this question gets them to realize it's going to take time to build up the passive income part of it. But how many months are you willing to work to build that income level? And once they've answered those questions, you not only have an idea of how serious they are about starting the business and how ready they are, but you also understand the expectations that they have. And you can correct those expectations in the sense that, let's say the person wants to make 300,000 Rand a month, but they're willing to work 1 hour a week. You know, there's not many, if any, opportunities that they're going to get in their lives that are actually going to give them that. So then they're just being unrealistic. But how many months are you willing to work to build that income level? So now you have an amount of money, you have amount of time, and per week. So you could work that out to per day. And then how many months, right? So you've got time and money factors to this. And then this is almost like the invite all over again. Remember, this is now after we've invited them to watch the video with the if I would you. So we're going to ask them a question again. But this time, if I could show you a way to make that 10,000 Rand a month by putting in 10 hours a week for the next 3 to 6 months, would you be ready to join now? Right? And after this process or during this process, the next thing that you need to be prepared for is objection handling. So you just need to understand the few basic objections and understand how to deal with those objections. We're not going to get into that today because we're running out of time. But is there any comments that you guys want to make on the system, that this infographic that I've made here?
Yes, Russell, just to add to what you were saying, that on a scale from 1 to 10, if people say 6, 7, whatever they say, I love to answer, okay, so what can I do to take you to a 10? Yes. And then remember, your biggest challenge many times are money. And especially when the people are new, I would always say, you know what? Many times people want to start the business, but the money is a challenge. So there are ways that we can help you to get that money so that you can start your future and build a legacy. And then, of course, I go into, you know, how to help them. But that is also for another training. Yeah. And if you want to know more, you can just ask me, then I'll share it with you. Thank you. Thank you, Russell.
Thanks for that, Hazel. So I'm gonna post these infographics on the groups. I'll once the training is done converting, I'll post a link to that as well. That's gonna take maybe next hour or two to upload to YouTube first. Let me just stop sharing here quickly. And then sort of the bigger announcement that we want to make is we want to actually move forward with doing our blitz sessions again. Now, in the blitz sessions, what we do is usually we'd come online, let's say at about 1 o'clock. Everybody would just greet and say, right, we're going to start inviting now. And then for about 15 minutes, we go ahead and, or say 20 minutes, usually we'd go and invite people via phone, text message, WhatsApp, Facebook, Instagram, whatever. Just sort of start the conversation with them. If I showed you a way to make some extra money, would you be willing to have a look or whatever it is? And then we'd come back online after about 20 minutes and let people know, okay, we've done maybe 10 people or 15 people that we've sent a message to. 3 of them have already replied to say yes, and we've shared this video or that video. And just like what we've done today with the whole getting everybody to share a struggle and a result, a positive result, we will basically give each other that support, but we'd also have time then to do this sort of training where we remind people of the different tools that are available. You know, if anybody doesn't have a specific link with them, we can then share that with them or whatever the case is. The other thing that is great with the blitz session is if we have you know, some of the leaders on the call, people who are more confident with the business side of things, people who can actually do the plan or know how to play the video on Zoom, you can then invite the person onto the call and we can actually do the plan for them and possibly even sign them up if we do the scale of 1 to 10 thing with them, right? So what we want to do moving forward, and Hazel, you must help me now with when we're going to start and that sort of thing, because I'm start working in the next few days. I'm not available. Is to actually try and do sort of a longer, or maybe we'll put it in the group later on when we're going to start with a longer version of the blitz session. And the idea is that we'll come on, let's say, for 3 or 4 hours of the day. And what we can now do with our Zoom account is we can create little breakout rooms where you can take your prospect into a private room and chat with them, and we can actually add, let's say, Hazel and Mary Lisa and Lizette, for example, to the group, to the breakout room as well, so that they can also give their story.
And Faiza.
And
Faiza
Faiza
can also help. Yeah, she's strong.
Those are just examples as well.
Yeah.
Of their story and how and why they started Neolife, and then they can play the video within that little breakout room as well. So that is the one thing, and the other thing is also you need to get to a point where your story is written down. I know for a lot of people who've come on the call or have been in training at the warehouse, we're going to do it again in the near future, where we do these sessions, 2-hour, 3-hour sessions, even if we have to. And we show you how your story should look, what sort of things should be in it, and how you can actually improve your story, even if you've already done your story. So you need to have your story written down. If you look at any conventional business and any person who's going out to speak to the prospect, or I'm going the window here, speak to the prospect and let them know what it is that the business is selling. They usually have a 30-second to 2 to 3 minutes of a prepared thing that they say. Like I can't remember what they call it now in the conventional thing. A sales pitch is what they usually call it. And they usually tell the person about the product or the whatever. And in a similar way, in the business sense, you don't want to tell you can't tell the person the business plan in 2 minutes. So tell them your story of why you started the business. What was it that made you join? And you need to have that written down and practiced so that you can do it in as short time as possible. So when we do these blitz sessions, what you would do then is you would tell your story. You then introduce an upline or a senior person on the call, and they would tell their story, and then you could play the plan as well if necessary. Right? And then you do the whole scale of 1 to 10 thing as well. So you guys have any feedback or input to the idea? Something we're going to be doing in the near future? Hazel, do you want to add anything before we get any feedback?
Yes, Russell. There's actually what is very, very important that people must realize, that if we do it from 10 till 4, you don't need to be on the call from 10 till 4.
Yes, yes.
That is very, very important that people realize that we will just be there. So when you have guests or when we do presentations, you will just, send a message to somebody and just say, I have this guest, can we go on a
Hazel, I don't know if it's just me, but your audio is breaking up quite badly.
I think it's almost like for us just to be better empowered, because it's almost like you're dealing with something that you're struggling with, but you have a partner and over the year. Because say if I have a struggle with a prospect, I can bring that prospect onto that Zoom call, and I'm not gonna look like I'm uncomfortable, but I'm gonna say, I'm going to let a senior person in the business just, you know, tell you more because she's longer in the business or he's longer in the business. So it's just a helping hand, somebody to pull you over that stumbling block to help you there. So I'm excited. I don't know how other people see it, but I am pretty excited about that idea. So thank you to you guys for offering your time even to get us there.
Oh, that's so awesome. And I think one other thing that, just to add on what you said there, is that it's not just about the senior person in the business, but it's also just about sharing stories. So your story, the person might not be able to relate to what your story is. But if I, for example, ask Faiza to give her side of the story or why she started the business, it doesn't have to be someone that's 10 years in the business. They could have started last month, but they have their story prepared already. And if you ask them to say their story or tell their story to the prospect, that person might relate to what they said or saying. You know, they might have, their story might be similar in terms of where they are now and where that person was. And then they can see a more applicable example of how to get to where they want to be, you know, if that makes any sense. So anybody else want to give any feedback? Mary Lisa, what do you think of the idea?
Yes, I think it's brilliant as well. It will definitely give us more opportunity to invite guests and to also get our stories in order. I think that's extremely important. As you say, we have to have it written down and we have to be ready to tell our story at a, you know, minute's notice.
Yeah.
And we can only get stronger with all of this, you know, as we said in the personal growth, it will give us less excuses if we assist and help each other this way. And I fully agree with you that my story might not appeal to somebody who's young and not worried with their pension and the residual income when they retire. So somebody else who's younger and have similar ideas and dreams can then share their story. So good all round.
Okay, excellent. Thanks for that, Mary Lisa. I think that will be it from my side for the day. If anybody else has any questions on what we've said so far, you guys are welcome to unmute yourselves and ask the question. Otherwise, we'll ask Hazel to close it off for us.
Hi, Russell. Could I just ask Hazel if she has a few minutes after this? Is the Zoom call going to be closed or will it still be open? I just want to pick a brain on something, Hazel, you mentioned, and I'm not sure if I got the right understanding, was how to help somebody who doesn't have the money. And I know Val did this as well, and I was going to ask her about it, who didn't have the money to buy the starter kits, but who's interested in helping to make money towards that starter kit. Is that what you were implying earlier on? Hazel, you must just unmute yourself, please.
Sorry for that. May I answer it now because we have a lot of new people on the group this morning. Yes, so the big thing is, and everybody is to tell people, look, the first thing is all of us, and that's what I told my new people on Saturday, that's from Zimbabwe. I said, all of us have white elephants in our home. You know, things that are just standing there, they're all in your way. You need to dust them off. Dust collectors, you know, we all have them. Even in our cupboards, things we bought and now suddenly we don't like it. So teach them to have a look what is in their home that they can sell immediately. It's amazing. Russell has a very good story where his new person also just had a cell phone and he went to go sell it and then started the business, you know. So that's the first thing. The other one is that I also love is to tell people, listen, just get 1 or 2 people. And I always say, not a lot, you know, because if one person is negative, it influences the whole group of people. So just get 1 or 2 people, and then I will come and we will talk about the product, you know, and whatever they buy, we will put in a kitty. So you will keep track and I will keep track. But remember, I will keep it because you're not supposed to get any profits if you're not registered. So that is my way of helping them so that they know this is an honest business at the end of the day. Okay, so then you keep that kitty. And for example, if there's 500 or 600 in that kitty and the person decide not to go on, then they need to know that that money comes to you. But what is super awesome, if that person then start the business having the 720, because that's the least, the cheapest kit we have, that immediately your new person have customers now, you see, and you help that person to develop customers. So it is just a win-win at the end of the day. Don't write people off. But also when you work with new people and you don't know them, you need to tell them, you know, use the third person, that I met somebody, because I did, I'm not lying, that had a money challenge and this is what we did, you know, that type of thing. Because many times people don't want to say that money is the challenge. And so you give them the answer before they tell you.
Thanks,
Is that
Hazel.
helping, Faiza?
Yes, thanks so much. It's I've employed a new domestic lady. She's also
Yes.
from Zimbabwe, and she used the products last week, and of course was totally fascinated by the fact that you could use one at different dilutions and all the range of cleaning it did. And then she wanted to know about it. And I thought to myself, you know what, let me explain straight away that she can make some money doing this business. So when she comes to me this Wednesday, I thought I was going to take some time and set aside so that I could explain and you know.
Yeah, please make time, Faiza, because once again, like I said at the beginning of the training, you know, I think of that guy that was living on the street in Ghana, that after 2 years, just 2 years, he's an IST, he's earning more than 100,000 Rand a month. They don't earn less than 100 and up in 2 years. You know, people work for 40 years and still don't earn that. And he's a free man. I mean, he's traveling the world. He's going now to Barcelona. Oh my God, you know, because the ISTs are all going on a world trip. Not the world trip, their world event. And it's Barcelona this time of the year. Yeah.
Thanks so much, Hazel. Thank you.
Pleasure. Anybody else?
Can I share something with you? Before I came to this business, I did exactly the same thing you told the people, because I went out and I got customers, and I took the commission and I gave it to my manager, and she kept it for me until I got the kit. That's how I also got in the business. Oh, hello.
Thank you, Meryl. Thank you for that.
That's how exactly I came in the business. But can I ask you another question before? Now, if I meet somebody and I want them to gain the link, must I put their own link on or what?
Look, the link is always on the group. So you will just send them the link like we did this morning. We put the link on and then you came on. So you will send that link to your new person.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, the link will never change. We'll always use the same one. We'll just add different text next to it, but you can just save that link or go back to that link if you want to invite someone.
Yeah. Russell, can I just end off so that we can
sure.
Close
Thanks,
the
Hazel.
meeting? Anything else that you want to add?
Nothing from my side. Thanks, guys. Thanks,
Anybody else that wants to add? Okay, guys, then I am really very excited about this super amazing journey that we're on. And I just know that we're going to go out and make a big difference, not only in South Africa, but in the world. Because our country needs this opportunity, but also the world, because people are just like I always say, like Zoe said, you know, people are just so angry, they don't even know why they're angry. And so if we take this gift that God gave us and just share it with other people, because it's one gift you cannot keep to yourself. So be blessed. Don't forget, tonight is going to be super amazing. I will put the link again on. It is on for tonight's training with Drew, where he's going to explain the information that we got at the convention, you know, how to get people started. The new way that Russell was explaining. Be blessed.
Okay.
Hazel?
Yes.
Hazel, I think there's someone at the in the background wanting to say something.
I just want to know, Hazel, it's Meryl here. I just want to ask you, is it going to be in the same link on the same thing tonight?
No, I will send it. Remember, I always send it on the group. So if it's Drew, it's another link. But when it's us, it's always the same one. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, but I will put it on the group right now. Just
okay.
A reminder, because I already put it on. Yep.
Okay, Hazel, I just want to thank you and Russell really for your time. I know I'm always the one to thank, but I must start showing that I really do appreciate it. But I think, I know that I've grown over time just being in the presence, you as a leader and everyone else, because you know, we really like this morning's personal growth. I really felt that I've learned a lot from my team members, no matter what they said, because if I wasn't there, I would grab it and I will have it. May not have shown that I have implemented it all, but I'm sitting with a wealth of knowledge that I've gained from all of you. So thank you for being the leader, and thanks to Russell always for just giving so unselfishly of his time and not wanting anything in return. So thank you, Russell. You're going to grow as much as we would like you to grow and more.
Amen.
Thank you.
Amen on that. And then, guys, I was so tired and so hungry on Saturday. I just want to thank you guys. It's amazing when we have things at the warehouse that we always in charge of being there, and how everybody was just there, even the people that came the afternoon, you know. Thank you very much for that. It's amazing how we always set the bars very high. So thank you. Be blessed and go out and just do it. We can. Be like Nike.
Yeah.
Bye. Love you guys. Do the morning back. Bye.